Think like a giant, live like a master.
Imagine for a moment that you could access the mind of a millionaire. See the world the way he sees it, feel the way he feels, decide the way he decides, and above all, act with the same clarity, boldness, and purpose that led him to the top. Now imagine discovering that this power already exists within you. It's only asleep. Napoleon Hill dedicated decades of his life to studying the richest and most influential men in history and revealed a disturbing truth. Wealth is a mental construction. You do not need $1 million in your bank account to begin thinking like a millionaire. What you need is to take the first step and take control of your mind. Most people live reacting to the world. True millionaires live creating the world. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They shape conditions through their thoughts, decisions, and actions. Napoleon Hill teaches us that thought is the seed, desire is the fuel, and action is the fertile soil where fortune blooms. Maybe you grew up hearing that money is scarce, that success is only for a few, or that dreaming big is dangerous. But all of those are implanted beliefs, a mental programming that quietly sabotages your potential. Hill proved that the human mind is the most valuable asset anyone can have. When you learn to master your thoughts, you stop being a slave to the external world and become the author of your own destiny. And this is not a theory. It is a practice that changes lives. The question you should ask yourself is not, how do I get rich? But rather, how do I begin to think like someone who is already rich? Because when your mind aligns with the right vision, opportunities appear, ideas multiply, and action becomes inevitable. In this video, you will discover what truly separates those who reach the top from those who only watch. You will understand the invisible principles that govern success, the very same ones Hill called the law of success. So stay with me until the end. This content was made especially for those who are tired of living on autopilot and want to activate the millionaire mindset. This is not temporary motivation. It is a big change in identity. Are you ready to begin thinking and acting like a millionaire? Everything begins with desire, but not just any desire. We are talking about a burning, intense desire, powerful enough to consume your mind and dominate your actions. Napoleon Hill discovered, by studying the richest men in history, that none of them got where they did by accident. Each one carried within themselves an obsession with a clear goal, so alive that no difficulty could erase it. This is the initial spark, the flame that, when lit with conviction, transforms simple ideas into extraordinary results. When you desire something with that level of intensity, the impossible begins to lose its meaning. Failure stops being an obstacle and becomes just another step in the process. Your mind begins to function like a tuned radar, detecting paths, connections, and solutions that once seemed invisible. It is as if the entire universe begins to respond to your focus. But be careful. This force only manifests when desire is fed daily with directed thoughts, words that affirm your commitment, and actions that prove your determination. Having a burning desire is more than daydreaming. It is turning that dream into a plan of action. Hill teaches that we must define exactly what we want, set a deadline, create a strategy, and repeat that plan until the mind accepts it as truth. This is not magic. It is mental reprogramming. By repeating, visualizing, and acting with clarity, your subconscious mind begins to work silently, guiding your decisions, shaping your behavior, and bringing you closer to what you desire. But no desire survives doubt. If you carry fear, insecurity, or procrastination, you are sabotaging your own journey. The intensity of your desire must be stronger than any excuse, and that requires sacrifice. Sacrifice of time, comfort, distractions, and sometimes even relationships that are not moving in the same direction. Those who think like millionaires understand that every choice has a cost, and that success requires total commitment. That hunger for achievement is what separates those who dream from those who accomplish. Burning desire is the starting point of all wealth. It is the invisible engine that transforms a simple thought into a tangible fortune. Think about that for a moment. If faith is the fuel, desire is the spark that ignites the engine of success. Napoleon Hill saw faith as the silent mechanism that moves the entire machinery of success. It is more than hope. It is an unshakable conviction. When you believe with every cell in your body that you are capable of achieving something great, reality begins to change your way of thinking. This is the faith that separates those who merely wish from those who truly accomplish. But faith is not something you wait to feel. It is something you choose to build. Hill revealed that faith can be developed with practice, like a muscle, and the method is clear. Daily repetition of positive thoughts, emotional visualization of your goals, and actions that reinforce your beliefs. The mind, constantly exposed to a repeated truth, begins to accept it as reality. This goes beyond philosophy. It is the science of success. The subconscious does not resist an order delivered with faith. That is why so many people fail even though they have potential. They feed more doubt than certainty. They wait for results before they believe, when the secret is to believe to create results. You may be asking yourself how to strengthen that faith. The answer lies in what you say to yourself every day. Affirmations are seeds. When you declare with emotion and certainty that you are capable, worthy, and determined, you are feeding your mind with constructive truths. Avoid negative thoughts as you would avoid poison. The mental environment you live in will determine the size of your faith and therefore the size of your success. Remember this with all your soul. Faith is the invisible foundation upon which every fortune is built. Without it, your ideas have no strength. Your plans, no matter how good they are, do not come to life. But with it, even the most unlikely becomes possible. The millionaire mind thinks with certainty. It acts based on vision, not circumstances. And that is exactly why it achieves the extraordinary. Where others doubt, it believes. Where others stop, it insists. Where others fall, it rises. With faith, you are the owner of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own path. You can make your life whatever you want it to be. Now imagine the impact of repeating these words with conviction every day. Autosuggestion is the mechanism through which you consciously become the architect of your mind. According to Hill, it is the link between burning desire and unshakable faith. It is the daily practice of feeding the subconscious with clear, precise, and emotionally charged commands. Autosuggestion is not merely repeating pretty phrases in front of the mirror. It is a strategic process of mental reprogramming. Napoleon Hill discovered that the subconscious mind is extremely influenceable and does not question the truth of the messages it receives. It simply accepts them. That is why, when you affirm with energy that you are capable, that you are ready, that success is inevitable, your mind begins to align your behaviors, decisions, and emotions with this new identity. But for it to work, you must apply intention. There is no point in saying, "I am rich," if inside you feel small and defeated. Emotion is the secret ingredient. It is what makes the suggestion penetrate deeply into the subconscious. That is why Hill advises, write your goals clearly, visualize them every day as if they had already been achieved, and declare them out loud with emotion. By doing this, you are coding your mind to win, slowly eliminating the old patterns that kept you stuck. Maybe you have never stopped to observe the thoughts that pass through your mind every day, but that is where the silent war between success and failure begins. If you do not use autosuggestion consciously, you will be programmed by outside voices, by the fears of others, by the scarcity the media transmits, and by the limiting opinions of people who have already given up. Those who think like millionaires take control of that programming and transform their minds into a power station of conscious creation. The truth is that you are already autosuggesting yourself all the time, even without realizing it. Every recurring thought, every phrase spoken in moments of stress, every belief you accept as final, all of it shapes your life. The difference is that now you know, and knowing means you can change. Most people never realize this. Your mind can be programmed for wealth, resilience, and victory. Autosuggestion is the most underestimated power and perhaps the most transformative of them all. What separates the dreamer from the achiever is not only desire, but the kind of knowledge one chooses to master. Napoleon Hill was direct. Knowledge by itself is not power. Power is the organized and intentional use of knowledge. While most people get lost accumulating random information, millionaires choose with precision what to learn, from whom to learn, and how to apply that learning toward their purpose. A common mistake is believing that diplomas guarantee success. Hill debunked that myth. Many of the richest men he studied had no formal education, but they mastered practical and specific knowledge directed toward their goals. They knew that the world does not reward those who know more, it rewards those who solve problems better. Millionaires develop the ability to identify the essential knowledge for their next level and immerse themselves in it intensely. They do not read just to read. They do not watch things for distraction. They do not study out of obligation. They learn with purpose. And more than that, they surround themselves with people who are smarter in key areas because they understand that success is a collective effort guided by strategic wisdom. This means that to create an extraordinary life, you need to stop seeking information and start seeking transformation. Ask yourself, what do I need to learn to live my next level? The answer is your map. With it, every book, course, mentor, and experience becomes a piece of your puzzle. And piece by piece, what was once only a dream begins to take shape until it becomes inevitable. Specialized knowledge is the invisible foundation of all great fortunes. It does not matter where you came from, how much time you lost, or how many times you failed. If you decide now to seek the right knowledge, with clarity of purpose and relentless discipline, growth will become inevitable. After all, everything that exists today in the physical world was once only an image in someone's mind. Imagination is the trigger of creation. It is what transforms the invisible into the tangible, the abstract into the concrete. For Napoleon Hill, it is the true laboratory of the mind, the place where ideas take shape, gain structure, and become plans. While many people treat imagination as fantasy, millionaires use it as a tool of construction. They know that it is where everything begins. Napoleon Hill describes two kinds of imagination: synthetic imagination, which reorganizes ideas that are already known, and creative imagination, where genius lives, connected to higher sources and capable of generating completely new ideas. Great fortunes, revolutionary inventions, and empires were born because someone dared to imagine what did not yet exist. The millionaire thinks in images before thinking in numbers. And that is exactly why so many people with big ideas but little action remain stuck. They did not understand the true power of imagination aligned with purpose. To imagine is not merely to dream. It is to visualize with clarity, intensity, and frequency. Great achievers use imagination as a mental rehearsal for success. They see themselves winning before the victory. They feel, hear, and experience the desired future as if it were already real. And that repetition shapes their decisions in the present. You do not need to wait for something to change before you begin to imagine a new reality. It is the opposite. By constantly imagining, you change your internal frequency, your posture, and your actions. The brain does not distinguish between what is real and what is intensely imagined. And that is why imagination, when used with intention, is an incredibly powerful tool. It generates authentic motivation, courage to take risks, and focus to persist even in the face of chaos. The millionaire mind imagines in high definition. It does not settle for rough drafts. It creates details, feels textures, and builds with emotion, because it understands that what begins as an image can become a legacy. If you close your eyes and see an abundant life, but open them and act as if nothing is possible, you are sabotaging your own creative power. But if you dare to imagine and act as if it were already real, you are activating the most powerful thing within you. When imagination and action align, the impossible loses its power, and the extraordinary begins to emerge, first in the mind, then in the world. Desire is the first step. Imagination is the second. But nothing truly happens until there is a plan. The world is full of people with big dreams and brilliant ideas who never moved forward. And the reason is simple. They never learned how to turn desire into strategy. Napoleon Hill taught that organized planning is the indispensable bridge between what is desired and what is achieved. But it is not just any plan. It is a plan with clarity, purpose, and flexibility, a structure that moves you forward even when motivation is lacking. The millionaire mindset is built on defined goals, clear deadlines, daily actions, and above all, unshakable perseverance. Napoleon Hill warned us, "A dream without a plan is just noise. Build it, execute it, adjust it. That's the formula." And the most powerful part of this step is that it eliminates paralysis. When you have a plan, you do not depend on moments of inspiration to act. You wake up knowing what you must do. Every task becomes part of your purpose, and by completing each stage, even the small ones, your mind understands that you are making progress, and that generates confidence. A confidence that is born from action, not promises. Millionaires build their inner strength through this cycle: plan, act, adjust, persist. Hill reminds us that temporary failure is inevitable, but never final unless you quit. And what separates those who continue from those who give up is exactly the plan. Without it, every obstacle feels like the end. With it, obstacles are only detours. The more you learn to adapt your plan without losing focus on the goal, the more unbreakable your journey becomes. You may have a burning desire and a powerful imagination, but without a plan that connects those things to action, you will continue only wishing. The plan is the starting point, but persistence is the invisible link between desire and result, between wanting and achieving. Without it, even the brightest talent fades over time. Most people quit too early, mistaking obstacles for stop signs, when in truth they are tests meant to prove how badly they really want it. Persistence answers an essential question: are you committed or merely interested? Those who are committed keep going. They learn, adjust, but do not give up. Persisting does not mean repeating useless actions while waiting for a miracle. It means adapting without losing focus, recalculating the route without giving up on the destination. Millionaires think with flexibility, but act with firmness. They know that results are rarely immediate, but they are inevitable for those who refuse to quit. Persistence transforms temporary failures into valuable lessons, and over time, success becomes only a natural consequence. Hill taught that perseverance can be developed like a muscle. The more it is practiced, the stronger it becomes. And to strengthen it, 4 pillars are necessary: a clear purpose, a defined plan, a mind protected against negative influences, and a support network made up of people who believe in your vision. With these elements, perseverance becomes practically unbreakable. If you want extraordinary results, commit yourself to a perseverance that does not waver. The millionaire mind understands this, and that is why it keeps moving forward even when everything seems to scream, "Stop." We will never be greater than the environment in which we live. Napoleon Hill discovered that the richest, most influential, and most successful people share one secret: they surround themselves with powerful minds. Alone, we are limited, but when 2 or more people unite with a definite purpose, an invisible power is born, a collective creative force called the Mastermind. This alliance goes beyond friendship or superficial networking. It is a real commitment in which each mind contributes ideas, support, strategy, and emotional strength. It is a group built on trust, loyalty, and shared vision. The impact of this is transformative. Ideas multiply, problems become easier to solve, and decisions become clearer. No one builds an empire in isolation. Every great leader, every millionaire with a sharp mind, has behind them an invisible network, a tribe that thinks big, challenges limits, and rejects mediocrity. The mastermind is the emotional and mental fuel that keeps the fire burning even on difficult days. But pay attention, the power of that alliance depends on the quality of the people involved. Being surrounded by negative, critical, or visionless minds suffocates growth. That is why millionaires choose very carefully who enters their circle. Ask yourself, with whom do you share your dreams? Who influences you? Do they push you forward or make you step back? The time has come to choose your environment intentionally, to create or become part of a mastermind that reflects the level of success you want to achieve. Because when aligned minds come together, the impossible loses its meaning. True growth begins when you stop walking alone and start walking with giants. Your subconscious is the fertile ground where everything you believe, feel, and repeat turns into reality. Napoleon Hill stated clearly, everything that is repeatedly fed to the subconscious mind, whether positive or negative, will eventually manifest in the physical world. So the question is, what are you planting there every day? Many people desire wealth, but repeat phrases like, that is too expensive, money is hard, or that is not for me. These statements program the mind for scarcity. If you feed your mind with limitations, it will create a limited reality. If you shelter fears, you will live in blockage. But if you plant ideas of abundance, courage, and worthiness, that will be the harvest that comes. The subconscious works like a silent servant, working day and night, shaping your life according to the orders you send, consciously or unconsciously. And here is the secret. Millionaires train the mind the way athletes train the body. They choose what to think, what to feel, and what to repeat. They know that the mind is the workshop where faith, desire, imagination, and persistence unite to generate extraordinary results. Transforming your reality begins by transforming your inner dialogue. You need to declare with conviction what you want, visualize it intensely, feel it as if it were already real, and repeat it every day until your subconscious accepts it as truth. Hill said that this process is like feeding a flame. If you stop, it goes out. But if you continue, it becomes uncontrollable, and nothing will be able to stop its force. If your life today does not reflect what you desire, it is not because you lack capability, but because you lack clear, strong, and consistent commands sent to your subconscious. From this moment on, you have a choice. Continue harboring doubt or plant faith, repeat scarcity or proclaim abundance. Your future begins in your mind, and your subconscious is listening. What are you going to say to it today? Do you fear or do you believe? Your external reality is only a reflection of what you feed internally. If you desire extraordinary results, begin today to cultivate an extraordinary mind. You already have all the tools. What is missing is the decision to use them with courage. And if this message touched something within you, if it awakened a part of you that was asleep, then do not let that die. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share in the comments what impacted you the most, because great transformations always begin with small steps. And maybe your next step is exactly the one that will change everything. This journey is only beginning, and now you are no longer alone. Let's move forward together toward the millionaire mindset.